you want to be successful? Do you want to grow your business? Do you want to dominate the day? Then you're going to need big Skip Energy. Welcome to the Big Skip Energy Podcast. How are we doing today?
I'm awesome. How you doing? Appreciate it.
And we are
living the dream.
That's right, buddy. How else could we not be in this mortgage market?
It's a 10
years. That's right.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on. I appreciate you spending a few minutes with Kayla and I. And go ahead and introduce yourself if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, my name's Steven Cooley. I own a couple companies. One of them is called Artverse Math, actually. It's a business marketing consultancy. We help lenders and tech outfits grow and define their value proposition and messaging, marketing, all kinds of good stuff. And then we have this cool thing called Mortgage Advisor Tools, which is the number one resource for mortgage technology, services, products, and in the country, where it's just a big list of, well-organized list rather, of tech companies and products and services that serve our industry. Yep.
That's awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. So what's your background, man?
Oh, dude. I'll give you the short, long version. So I cut my teeth in business in the printing industry. And I sold wholesale digital printing to sign shops. My son was like 2. He was like, my dad sells stickers for a living, and he's half right. But then I tried my hand in entrepreneurship as I did a coupon sharing software company. And then I almost lost everything doing that nonsense. And I wanted to get into the money game, and I found this job as a loan officer at a lender in Carmel, Indiana called Urban Financial. It was a call center. And so I went in there and I started to get licensed, and they changed their name in the first month I was there to Finance of America Reverse. And so I had no idea what that was, how big it was, what Blackstone was. As most of us know, that was a pretty sizable vendor or lender rather. And I noticed while I was getting licensed, because it used to take forever, that their marketing wasn't great, their digital marketing in particular. And so I wrote a Cherry McGuire's type memo, and the VP of the call center called me down to the office. I thought he was going to show me the back door. Like, who are you? Why are you scrutinizing us in 3 months? You've been here 2 months, whatever it was. And he was just like, can you actually do this? Can you think you can generate leads on Facebook and through websites and da-da-da-da? And I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, write a business plan and a budget. We'll see what happens. And I got super promoted to AVP of digital marketing at the largest reverse mortgage company in the country. And they got promoted again to director of digital marketing at Finance of America Holdings. And as we do, I got thrown out of there about 4.5 years ago and started my businesses. And so I've been in this space about nine years, give or take, and I absolutely love it. It's an incredible industry, especially for someone that does what I do. So, yeah.
I agree. I tell you, I always like hearing people's stories of how they got into the mortgage industry. It's always different. It's always a different path.
Yeah.
Everybody really intends on doing it.
Never on purpose.
Well, my joke is I Forrest Gump my way into this industry, right? It's just like I showed up thinking I was going to sell loans for a living, and then
showed up and did it.
Yeah.
Well, very cool, man. So before we started recording, you showed me a little bit about what your product is. And obviously, we're going to just do a 15-minute commercial on it, but it was really cool. And it really served a big purpose. And I want to talk about the bigger picture, not just in mortgage. I'm not expecting you to talk for other industries, but there is so much out there, so much tech, so many services, so much this, that, and the other. It is so hard
absolutely
to get your head wrapped around it. You've got people calling, especially now, because we're talking about things like tech stacks, right?
Yeah.
So that means not only do you have to do 1 out of 100 for one purpose, you've got to be sure they all integrate. It can be overwhelming.
You got it.
Right?
You got it.
So this service that you provide, tell me a little bit about this, please.
Yeah, so it is a completely free service to lenders, loan officers, brokers, mortgage professionals. And quite simply, if you're familiar with technology, the best way to describe it is the CAPTERRA for mortgage tech. If you are not familiar with technology in general, then it's the Yelp for mortgage tech. And so we have put together and democratized all the services, technology, and products that serve our industry. We've got about 85, 90 categories and about 1,000 companies listed.
Okay.
Idea, quite simply, to your point, is to help people find stuff. There's some areas where I think it is a little bit overwhelming what's out there. I think more so than not, there's a misunderstanding of how much is out there and really what the options and alternatives are. And so, and I'll give you one quick example. Like in our CRM category, we have 30 companies. And I think I only have about half of them probably and so there's probably more to discover. But if you were to say, hey, list 5 mortgage-based CRM companies, you might be able to do that. But if I asked to list 10, that's when the wheels would start to fall.
I'm starting to do it in my head now. I'm like,
you're like, all right.
Yeah, I definitely can't get 10.
Yeah. So, but they all have different takes, different business models, different integrations, as you mentioned, different cultures, and based on where you're at in the country and whatnot, there's lots of variables that people consider when they're picking out technology. And we just wanted to build a tool that lenders could use to help them understand what's available so that they could actually get a better understanding of what might work and what doesn't. It's definitely not 3 is the deal. Like there's usually about 10 plus of about everything.
So Kayla can probably, actually, I want her to talk more about this because she goes through this every single day, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Kayla, talk to me. In this environment, we don't have the time, right? We don't spend searching through this. It's impossible to find a number of opinions quickly. We've got to find a good centralized source and talk about your experience with that.
Well, I have my groceries delivered to my doorstep. I don't even go to the grocery store anymore. So I am that type of person. I'm a millennial. I'm not Gen Z. We want things right away. If I can't get Amazon 2-day, delivery Prime, I'm like, what is going on with the world? So for me, what I'm thinking is, okay, you are quite literally saving people time, energy. People like me, Skip knows this. I am paralysis by analysis. You give me, and I'm just, I don't know what to do. But when you're narrowing this down for a loan officer, when right now in this market, I need to get the next deal. We're seeing decreased pipelines. We're seeing rate shopping. It's constant busyness. We're all looking for how can we set ourselves apart and how can I make my day more efficient? Well, Mortgage Advisor Tools is quite literally doing the work for me. And so my question to you is, what are you finding that loan officers are utilizing this the most for? What are they going to your website for the most? I can think of some ideas, and I'm actually on the site as we speak. I'm looking at it. But what are you seeing that has been the most needed tool?
It's lead gen, right? Like that's by a long shot. Loan officers are looking for leads. They're looking for opportunities. They're looking for different options that help them supplement their business. I think the referral, especially your retail loan officers, are struggling. Referrals aren't what they used to be, and they're trying to sort that out. They tend to not look for a little bit of everything. I'll tell you this. There's one category that's highly relevant to loan officers that doesn't exist at all that should. And if anybody sees this and can tell me otherwise, but sales enablement is almost non-existent. And that's heavily existent in just about every other business sector. And so there's good examples of sales enablement technology and tools, but there's like literally 2 to 3 and everybody knows who they are. But in other verticals, there are actually quite a bit of these type of technologies and enablement tools to help you facilitate the very tedious amount of work that you have to do just every day. But that you probably don't even realize that if you were selling something else that like even for like proposal, there's some loan scenario stuff, but there's quite a bit that doesn't exist.
Well, and as a loan officer, a lot of times I think we're all trying to find the way to get in front of the consumer before even a realtor does. We want to add value and give our realtor partners a referral as well, because a lot of times the realtors are getting to them first, but I think it's because they're also utilizing the lead gen a lot more than loan officers. So what I love is that you're actually giving people the option to search a tool that, hey, you should be doing lead gen so you can get in front of that person first. And I love that.
There's also co-branding as a category on the site, which is inevitably, and I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands of realtors at this point, but there's always been that joint marketing, advertising effort, and that shows up in a lot of different technology and services. And so we have a co-branding category just for that very thing where it's like, yeah, maybe me and you should go in on this and let's see how it performs, that kind of thing. And so there's so all these have been very interesting to kind of break down and consider. It's like, yeah, we know that, like, what's that magazine, the Realtor magazine, Real Producers. It's a great example. Like, it's like, you could call them a media company, but that's, in my experience, always been a co-branding opportunity, right?
Yeah.
By a long shot. It's like, yeah, we're going to mutually participate in this media company so that we can, spread the word. And so, but yeah, there's a lot of that kind of thing that's available.
Are you finding that with the way that social media is moving, where if I want to look up who a doctor is, or in our case, a lender or a realtor, if you're going online and you can't find someone, that's an issue. It's kind of a red flag in our world now. Are you finding that you're providing a lot of tools for, you had mentioned podcasts, which is awesome because no one really knows how to start a podcast unless you talk to someone. Are you finding you're providing a lot of social media tools, whether they're apps or things that different platform usages? Are you doing that?
Yeah, social media compliance, social media management, social media content. Yeah, absolutely. So all those things are readily available as categories on the site. And I liked your Amazon. I was joking with my wife a couple of days ago and she was looking at something. Oh, we were like Halloween costume shopping. I'm like, there are other websites other than Amazon that might have this product that I know. She was a poll. But that's the gold, right? It's that, like, if I can go one place and find everything I'm looking for, it's good pretty quick, right? And so, no, we are trying to facilitate that. And we probably have a sixth of the resources that are really out there that serve our industry. So we're eagerly looking to find more, develop more categories, build out more categories. But again, our gig is to help people, man. Like, we're just trying to help folks with information and resources so that they can survive and thrive in this environment.
I think one of the cool things about this, and this is, again, goes to helping salespeople sell instead of spending tedious time researching and asking and that kind of thing. It's funny because I'm a member of like all the Facebook LO groups, realtor groups, the whole nine yards. How often do you see, hey, who uses, or give me your CRM recommendation, or this or that or the other, right? And inevitably, the social media part takes over. You got, this one sucks, that one's just terrible. You got, even still got a jillion unorganized opinions. You got one that you have sub comments like, I just want to get an answer here.
Well, and then people don't do anything. They're like, I'm just not going to do anything.
Can't do it. So yours is way more organized. That's really cool, man.
Yeah. Reviews are where we get kind of incredible. And so we definitely need folks to find their favorite lender or vendors and tech and products and review it, and find the ones they hate and review it, whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
It's tough to aggregate because, of course, we tend to only leave reviews when we are upset.
Right.
But nonetheless, we have some great plans for that in the future. And, it's a work in progress. And we're going to be serving our industry as a resource for a long time. So we're excited about it.
So I'm curious, man, what inspired you to get involved in this and do this?
We had solicitation Fridays when I was at Finance of America.
Okay.
And we managed millions of dollars of marketing spend. And so we had the opportunities to change a tech company's life. And so, like, if you were, and branches and loan officers all over the country would make suggestions and would bring to our attention tools that they used. And we would be like, all right, we'll set up a demo. And so we had like this standing day, like I think it was twice a month. We would let anybody pitch us. Like, when you're rolling something out to like 1,800 loan officers, you really can, like, it's like, all right, here's a $250,000 deal. Like that's a game changer, right? Mm-hmm. And so we just got to thinking, like, how does anybody that's not the size of this bank get this type of solicitation and get a real idea of what's out there? And the answer is that there's a tendency for them to kind of overlook parts of the country and certain size lenders because there's just kind of a misunderstanding of that dynamic. There's a great middle market of IMBs and banks and whatnot that are underserved, I'd say. But that was it. It kind of spawned at that moment. We even bought the domain, I think, within that time. So we bought the domain 6-7 years ago. But yeah, so it's just that. It's like, man, like, if we could help the middle market in particular understand what's really out there in the market, man, like I think they account for 60% of originations, something like that, right? But that'd be a big deal. And Gen Z last year was 9% of mortgage originations. And so it doesn't take any, and it's the first tech technology saturated demographic ever the world's ever seen. Like it's the largest, right? So they're going to expect us to be pretty tech savvy, man. Like they're not going to tolerate clunky tech or sending in documents and a fax machine or what.
Well, then I know the fax machine is.
Yeah.
But yet it's still on our 1003.
Yeah, I know. Why is that?
Thought process though, because as we grow as lenders and as we continue to be the Amazon Prime, I guess you could say,
Right.
it's like some people, Gen Z is not going to want to wait around to meet you in person or wait for a physical signature, where if you're not moving with technology, and we're talking about like all electronic, we're talking your documents are on your phone. We also want to give a really great experience to a client so that when we refinance them or they tell their friends, they say, oh, it's smooth. But if a lender is still stuck in this mindset of, well, it's fine, it's working, you literally are giving, like, if you guys are seeing this, like, my goodness, like all of these tools, like a one-stop shop to stay with the times.
And it's not that they don't want to meet you in person. The problem is that like in every other part of their life, technology consumes it. Like I said, they're the most saturated. Their whole life, they've been saturated with technology. Now in school, that's how they learn. There's a laptop or an iPad in front of them. So in every aspect of their life, they're using technology. And imagine showing up to this process and all of a sudden you have to do all these things manually and you have to pull documents in awkward ways. And right. So like, that's the issue, is that like there are lenders obviously that do this extremely well. And there's actually enough resources out there where every lender could do it fairly well. And it's important to get there because this generation does expect a good transaction experience and they want it to be similar to the ones that they have all the time. That's it. It's not even man, they don't want to, like they have a hard time making phone calls. But generally speaking, like this demographic in my assessment is going to behave quite similar to every other 28 to 40-year-old new home buyer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we get older, we tend to find ourselves in the route of putting together a family and we want to settle down and have a home. So I don't see it shifting too much, but the way that they definitely have been used to technology providing them a convenient experience in their life.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is, again, why us as the originators and mortgage professionals need to be sure that we've got the right tools, the right pieces to the puzzle to provide that experience. So, all right, man. So if the listeners want to learn more about what you do, what you offer, where should they go?
They should go to mortgageadvisortools.com and
easy enough.
Go check it out. If you have questions about stuff or you're a vendor that has questions about stuff, you can email me at steven@mortgageadvisortools.com. Easy.
All right, man. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. This is really cool. I'm actually going to really enjoy learning more about this. I appreciate you coming on the show for a few minutes.
No, this is a ton of fun. I appreciate the opportunity. And man, I hope we can do it again.